Hi, this is Joe again with another review, and this is going to be my next to last review for 2018. It's not going to be more appropriate to end doing my last videos of 2018 on the Korean movie, the 1973 film, The Way We Were, starring Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. The movie was also directed by Sidney Pollack. And of course, the famous song, The Way We Were, and the musical score was written by Marvin Hamlish. Of course, went on to do the music for a chorus line on Broadway. Of course, this movie, like I just said, that has one of the most famous movie songs of all time during the opening credits sequence. It does take place to maybe a few minutes into maybe 5 to 10 minutes into the film. Sung by Barbra Streisand. And of course, the funny thing is that Barbra Streisand won an Oscar for Fighting Girl, which was just 5 years earlier, or sorry, it came out 5 years earlier. And the song People didn't make the number one on, believe it or not, on the Billboard charts, but the song The Way We Were did. So that's the first song that Barbra Streisand ever recorded that became a number one. Her first number one hit, which is kind of hard to believe. Which to me is kind of hard to believe, but fortunately it happens that way. And of course, this was the only matchup between Robert Redford, who was a very strong producer and director in his own right, versus Barbra Streisand in this film. And of course, I don't know how well the two got along, but there's always stories that didn't really get along that well, because each one of them tried one up the other, especially in this film. Well, the movie, or the plot, is, or I'll sort of say that Barbra Streisand's character, Katie, mirrors Barbra Streisand's real life political views. It means that she plays a liberal bitch, or sort of say a socialist, communist, liberal bitch. I mean, that's a hell of a combination. Who falls in love and gets involved. Not only she gets involved, but she falls in love with Robert Redford's character, who was a staunch Republican and conservative guy, and who was in the Navy, and for the first half, I think really like the first quarter or half of the film, he was in the Navy. Around the time of World War II, and just before World War II, when they first meet, and then he goes off into the Navy during World War II, comes back, and they continue the on and off relationship. And a couple of scenes was pretty sexy scenes for Barbra Streisand film. When she takes off her clothes, you see a shot from the back. I think it was a body double. Because I don't think Barbra Streisand actually would do a nude scene, because even though she was smoking hot in this movie, and she was. I'm not saying that she wasn't. She was smoking hot in this film, but I don't think that she would do a nude scene. So she was shot from the back, and you see her topless. Taking her clothes off her slip. She takes off her slip, and you see her shot from the back, but you don't see her face. When you don't see a character's face when she takes off her clothes, you know it's a body double. I mean, that's one of the givens in Hollywood. If you don't see the actual person's face, that's a body double. They did that with Julia Roberts, A Pretty Woman. They did that with Alan Barkin in the movie Sea of Love with Al Pacino. So if you don't physically see the face in a sexy scene like this, you know it's a body double. So a little bit of trivia. And you actually see her do an actual love scene in bed with, twice with Robert Redford, which you rarely didn't see in Barbra Streisand movie. You see maybe a kissing scene, but you don't see a full out the characters in bed having sex, which happens twice in this film. Which is hard to believe for a Streisand movie, for a scene like that. Robert Redford, yes, but not Barbra Streisand. Anyway, like I said, that they had an on-off relationship, and they met in college, the two characters, and they were in a writing class, and Barbara Katie busted her ass, knowing that she was running around like a chicken without a head on for most of this movie, because she has a job at a radio station. She was organizing for socialist protests against Spain, against Hitler. At first, she was protesting FDR, saying that he was, even though FDR was a staunch Democrat, that he was a warmonger. At first, she was protesting him, and then when FDR got elected to 4 terms as president, and he began to put in plans, more liberal ideas, and Barbara Katie, Barbara Streisand's character, was beginning to like him more, because he has put in plans that agrees with Barbara Streisand's Katie's politics. And then she was constantly butting heads with Robert Redford's character, because he was, like I said, was conservative and always disagrees with Barbara all the time, because she's always an extremist. And everybody has to agree with. It's like today, with liberals today. If you don't agree with them, you're an asshole. It's pretty much what it is. You're like the worst person in the world, and you should go to hell. You should drop dead if you don't have a liberal point of view on politics. And even when people sometimes agreed with Katie's character, she still butts heads with everybody. All the other characters in the movie. There was one particular point in the film where FDR dies. Now, excuse me, my sciences. When FDR dies, everybody in the room except for Barbara Streisand was making jokes about Eleanor Roosevelt, about how she used to go into the mines, the coal mines, and used to come out and used to, or with all the dirt in the coal mines all over her face, all the grime from the coal mines all over her face. Now she looks better now with the dirt all over her face. And it's true, Eleanor Roosevelt was actually one of the prettier first ladies we ever had in the United States. So everybody used to make. Everybody in the room was making Eleanor Roosevelt jokes, or making jokes that FDR was a cripple because of his polio, and then of course Barbara Streisand, or Katie, she went crazy, and told everybody to hell off. So why don't you tell some more cripple jokes with FDR or something? And it's pretty much broke up the relationship with her and Robert Redford, and then eventually got back together again. Because Barbara was so much in love with Robert Redford's character, and vice versa, that every time they see each other, they fall back into love. They keep falling in and out of love all the time. And then, of course, eventually, Robert Redford's character, after he got mustered out of the Navy, he became a writer, and his book, even though it didn't sell very much, got picked up by a Hollywood studio through a friend of his, and decided to make a movie on it. So as they were making a movie, now all of a sudden you have the anti-communist committee on the Un-American committee in Congress. You're starting with Joe McCarthy, with the McCarthyism, and of course Robert Redford and directors, and the director of the movie that was based on Robert Redford's novel, and the producers all had to testify with the communist stuff. And now Barbara Streisand is protesting with the communist stuff. I mean, come on, because she's trying to defend the First Amendment rights of the producer and the director of the film, and they were picking on him because for the anti-American communist stuff. And that's when somebody called her a communist bitch. Which Barbara Streisand, ironically, that's what Barbara Streisand is today, protesting against being so dramatized that Hillary Clinton lost, and she gained a buttload of weight because of that. So her role in the way we were, it's unfortunately what Barbara Streisand is in real life. Even though nowadays she doesn't actually protest, she opens up a big mouth in concerts or the rare interviews that she has done, attacking the Republican Party and attacking, of course, attacking the Bush family when the Bushes were in the White House, and now she's attacking, attacking Trump like everybody else is. And so it's ironic that her role in what really mirrors her real life political views, which is ironic. And then, while this stuff was going on with the anti-communist stuff, that's when Barbara Streisand tells Robert Redford that she's pregnant. And of course, you do see her a little, with a little bit of a baby bump, as they call it now. You never see her you see her after she gave birth in the hospital with the baby. And she had a little girl. And that's when Robert Redford found out that she finally gave birth and saw her in the hospital, and then never had anything to do with her anymore in the rest of the film. Until, of course, you see her at the end of the movie in a famous scene in front of the Plaza Hotel in New York City, literally across the street from Central Park. And that's where she had the famous scene where everybody loves when she moves Robert Redford's hair over. And I noticed that Barbara Streisand got married, her character got married or remarried. Even though technically in the film you never see her get married to Robert Redford in the film, but I noticed but they mention it in the end. Or Robert Redford mentioned it in the film. Oh, you're still married? She goes, yeah. Is he a good father to our daughter? And she says, yeah, he is. He treats her well. He said, how's our daughter doing? And he says, oh, she's doing well. She's doing fine. And notice that Robert Redford moved on with another girl, another woman, and he walks off to his own ways, and she walks off with protesting the atom bomb, and that's pretty much how the movie ends. And then you see the song again, and it ends on a freeze frame in front of the Plaza Hotel, and you hear the song "The Way We Were" again, and that's how the movie ends. And it's it is one of the better movie roles that Barbara Streisand's had in her career, especially at that time. This when she had a good career back then. And it's a shame that when her political views mirrored the character, like I said earlier. But it's as far as other than maybe and Barbara Streisand really had. Maybe you can count on one hand how many decent roles she had. For Funny Girl, The Way We Were, Yentl, and maybe The Prince of Tides. Those are about maybe the 4 good roles that Barbara Streisand has had in her 50-year career. In movies, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about music, I'm talking about in movies. And, if you're a Barbara Streisand fan, you gotta check out The Way We Were. So that's my review of The Way We Were. Please click on the video, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com, so WDY, and that's C.com. There's a homepage the rally of Christy Moore, the Rally Reviewer, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.